Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast, proud to be part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Michael Grahamslaw and today I'm joined by Iain Mackay. How's it going, Iain?
Michael, it's going fine. I am fresh from strengthening the bonds of being part of the Global Sports Podcast Network in doing a podcast, the English Premier League podcast with Nick. And I've just realised, because nobody's going to think I could possibly wear this jumper twice, that'll mean if anyone sees both of them, they'll know. Recorded it on the same day.
Back to back, and how was that? A good pod?
It's a very good pod, yes. Very good pod.
Good stuff.
And I only slagged Isaac off 2 or 3 times in it.
Oh, I'd ask you what you said, but I want people to go and check it out for themselves.
Go and check it out. Check it out. They'll be there tomorrow morning.
Lovely stuff. So, we're at Newcastle United here. We have a huge match on Thursday against FC Barcelona. And it starts off our Champions League campaign, and I'm already excited. It's Monday night. How I'm going to get through the week, I don't know. But our full game preview will go up tomorrow. Will be recorded tomorrow, up Wednesday, for that particular game. But to begin, I wanted to talk about some of the tactical battles, some of the changes we might make for the game, and get your thoughts on them. So we spoke a bit yesterday, me, you, and Kev, about a potential 5 at the back. Botman potentially coming in for one of our wide players. A 5-3-2 is what we said yesterday. Do you still think that's the way forward?
Yes. Oh, yes, I do. I mean, you've just told me beforehand that's what Valencia tried last night, and they got absolutely caned.
Absolutely
they
caned.
looked like they were playing cricket by the end. So no, but I do think that that strengthens our defence, and we've got a defence where nobody can really get a shot on target against us this season.
Yeah.
So strengthening that, I think we will. I think we need Botman. I think we need Botman's cool head in the back, almost as a sweeper. And I think it will be those 3 at the back. Where I probably differ from what you and Kev want is that I wouldn't play Trippier. I would bring Livramento and Hall in to give us some width down the sides, because they're Duracell bunnies, aren't they? They can go up and down, up and down.
I will say, I had a little think about what you were saying yesterday, and if we do go 5 at the back, I'm actually probably more inclined to agree with you, actually thinking about it, because Trippier's not going to get down the byline that much. And although he is a great passer of the ball, you're going to need to hit Barcelona on the counter-attack, and Hall and Livramento are probably best place to do that. So, yeah, I do actually agree with you. I didn't last night, but I do now. You convinced me.
It occasionally happens, isn't it? Like they say, a stopped clock is still telling the right time twice every 24 hours. So occasionally Michael agrees with Iain. You never know.
It's a miracle, and maybe Newcastle pull off a miracle on Thursday as well. But as you mentioned, one team that didn't pull off a miracle was Valencia. Now, I did mention they got beat 6-0 there. I would like people to go and look at the Valencia team, and you will feel a lot better about it. The main player in there that you will recognise is Arnaut Danjuma, who had a failed loan spell at Everton. So it's one of those where it's not the best team in the world. Valencia aren't the team that they used to be. So don't be too scared of that, frankly, fast attack that Barcelona have. Yeah, but how will we counteract it? We've mentioned the 5-3-2. I guess if we've discussed the back 5, let's say it is going to be Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, Botman, Fabian Schär, and Dan Burn. The next comes in midfield, where you could argue it'll either be a 5-2-3 or a 5-3-2. If it's a 5-3-2, we know what it's going to be. It will be Joe Linton, Sandro Tonali, and Bruno Guimaraes. But if we ended up at a 5-2-3 with 2 wingers, that would mean one of those would have to drop out. And I would say at the minute, Bruno and Tonali are undroppable. But would you argue that Joe Linton in a game like this is maybe one of our most important players and therefore also undroppable?
I I would argue that. I think a fit Joe Linton could even be our most important player in a game like this. And I'm
Yeah,
reminded of his man of the match performance in the League Cup, where Joe
yeah,
Linton appeared to play left wing and left midfield and helping out left back and turning up at centre half as well. So yeah, I think if it's 5-2-3, the left wing position should be Joe Linton, and I'd play Gordon down
yeah.
the right.
It's a great shout as well. So you could still fit Joe Linton in there, and then
Yeah.
even if it's the 5-2-3-2, it would still probably end up that way anyways. So that's a great shout actually, because then
Well,
it's
I think if
rotational
you've got
between the two.
either Hall or Livramento playing at left back, will will make the extra width. If we need the extra width, if Joe Linton is filling in on the inside because it's a midfield and he's won the ball, he needs an outlet. And if Gordon's not there because it should be him, I think you'd find that both Livramento and Hall played enough with him to know that they need to be up there as well.
100%. Yeah, would you? So you mentioned Anthony Gordon there. Do you think he'll be the one ups alongside Nick Voldemar? Do you think he's the best fit for that position? Because obviously there's Alanga, there's Barnes, there's Murphy. None of them are really as experienced in centre forward, other than Alanga, as Gordon. But do you think that's the best fit? Because he will have a bit more of a free role, so you
I
could play
think
any of them.
that I don't think you've got to think of Voltemada as a number 9 in this game. I think you've got to
True.
think of maybe him and Gordon interchanging. If Voltemada can go wider on the right or come short with Gordon in behind him doing the running into the channels, it's pace though, isn't it? It's pace, and you
Yeah.
need somebody to pick that pass. And whilst that could be Tonali or Bruno from the halfway line, if it can be moved forward 20 yards to Voltemada, 30 yards out, that's a much more dangerous position for a killer pass to be put through at pace,
Yeah.
at speed. I think that's
Yeah.
what I would
100%.
quite like. I mean, it would line up. It would look like you had Joe Linton down the left, Gordon down the right, and Voltemada in the middle. But
Hmm.
providing they have worked on it, I think that could be really interchangeable and really difficult to defend against because Barcelona won't know what's coming, will they?
No, absolutely not. I think it's a great point. I mean, well, you mentioned there Voltemada coming deep. He did that so many times against Wolves, and he was really effective with it. To have Gordon, those two almost interchanging in the 10 and then the false 9, let's say, it could be really, really good in getting behind and causing damage, as you say. So I think based on that, it probably does have to be Anthony Gordon because he's played that role so much for us, interchanged with Isak there at times as well.
He has, he
Um,
has. There's a alternatively Gordon's in reserve on the bench to be able to do it in the second half when Barcelona have tired of it. You could play Alanga on his
yeah,
more familiar right wing position because I think he's been down the middle quite a lot with Forest in the past.
he
So I
has,
think
yeah.
he could do it as well. And this is all going to go down to how well individuals have clicked with
Yeah.
Voltemada in that first week, 10 days of training. Like I said, if there's an instant connection, which there often is sometimes, that'll be who gets picked. We won't really know the full story of why until afterwards. But yeah, I think we've got options again, which is fabulous, and we've got stuff
100%.
we've got stuff that we can change around from the bench if it isn't working.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is one of those where we're sitting here having this conundrum of who to play then. It's been a long time since Newcastle have actually been able to do that. And it actually feels quite nice. But
It
obviously,
does.
Barcelona have their options as well. Lamine Yamal looks like he's going to be missing for the game due to what I'm going to call a minor groin injury. Let's put it that way. So,
Can't believe.
yeah,
Why
if you
aren't you
haven't
telling
read
us?
about that,
Why aren't you telling us, Michael? It's news. You can't help the fact that it's embarrassing news for poor old Lamine, but it's news. Tell people.
uh, he's a minor. I can't talk about it. But it's one of those where, yeah, if you haven't read about it, read about it because Lamine Yamal has done what probably most young footballers have done, and not really thought with his head. And, well, it's going to miss him a couple of games, but that does mean that Marcus Rashford will likely feature. We have seen a vast improvement in Rashford's behaviour since leaving Man United. Of course, it's toxic as it gets over there. And in his career against Newcastle, he has 5 goals, 4 assists in 15 games. Are you slightly fearful of Rashford, or do you think the downgrade of Yamal to Rashford is something Newcastle can really look forward to, or as a little bit of a relief?
I think Rashford played very well against us for Villa last year. I'm not dismissing him as the shell of a player that was playing for Manchester United the last couple of times he played.
Fair.
But to be fair, given I think we've got a lot more potent concerns in the Barcelona side to be worried about than Marcus Rashford. I think with him, a leopard never being able to change his spots, let's say, Rashford playing means that there isn't somebody chasing back when we do have a fast break. And that could be an
Yeah.
overload down his side, which could be just what we need. Just what we need
Yeah.
2 or 3 times, for example. Um, I can't see that they'll have coached him into running 50, 60 yards back to make a tackle. Can you?
No, and to be honest, even if they had got it into his head, the fitness isn't going to be there, is it? You can sort of teach a donkey to go to water, but you can't make it drink. And I know that's not the phrase; it's a horse, but he's more of a donkey. But
It's almost
it's
like you planned that, Michael. That was brilliant.
yeah, I didn't mess up my words at all there. But yeah, I think of the two wingers, Rafinha is definitely a lot more of a threat.
Absolutely.
I think he's fantastic for Barcelona, and double the player that was at Leeds, and even then he was good. He's top of the class. And, well, I guess, speaking of top of the class, we've got the first advert of the evening. Bionic.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionic, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Good stuff. So going into the game, the betting odds have Newcastle with about a 30% chance of winning, Barcelona with a 45% chance of winning, and a draw at just 25%. What do you think about those odds, Ian? Do you agree, or do you think there's maybe odds should be thrown in a different way?
Oh, do I agree? I think the odds aren't bad, actually. However, I'm surprised the bookies have got them right because I would have thought that they would much more heavily favour Barcelona to win. It's Barcelona after all.
Yeah,
And we've never really, our Champions League campaigns, we've never really been very valued. I mean, 4-1 against Paris Saint-Germain is still put down as some fluke result, even though we outplayed them for the whole of the 90 minutes.
yeah.
And we should have won in Paris, but for a stupid referee decision. Hit the bar and the post twice in the last 10 minutes and the 1-0 defeat against Dortmund. I think we are a force in the Champions League, and even more so this year with the strength in the squad that we have. So I still think Barcelona are favourites, which is what the bookies have got.
100%. Yeah.
Um, but I would have thought that they would be far more heavily. Might be worth a decent bet then. Sorry.
Absolutely. Well, to be honest, as a gambling man myself, I was looking at the draw this afternoon, which is the only reason I knew what the odds were like. Because I'm sitting here thinking Barcelona are a fantastic team, but St. James's Park isn't an easy place to come to. And a draw is a result that both teams would probably be happy with. Barcelona fans are sitting there. I've seen plenty say this is their hardest tie of the whole campaign, which is
Really?
mental when you consider they play PSG. Yeah. They are apparently really confident about when they play at home and just when they're away at St. James's. They think it's going to be a really tough game,
It's going to
which
be a really
I hope
tough
we
game.
do. I hope we don't disappoint. But I've seen a lot of Barcelona fans who don't seem scared, but they're giving Newcastle United the respect that most teams don't seem to do. So, to be fair, massive credit to Barcelona fans for that, from what I've seen. But I think there is going to be a bit of a display before the game. So the crowd will get pumped up. We're going to see a very, very riled up St. James's Park on Thursday night under the lights. I think realistically, a draw is probably what both teams would be happy to come out with. But I don't think there's any expectations on Newcastle here to get anything because we need 12 points. Even if we lost to Barcelona and PSG, there's 6 other games we can get it to. So do you think this is effectively a free hit for Newcastle?
Way more of a free hit at the start of an 8-game campaign than it is if we're needing a draw when we go to Paris Saint-Germain in the 8th game of the campaign.
100%.
So yeah, but I mean, I quite like that. It's the same as the Paris game last time was a free hit, and it just meant that we were relaxed and we played our game. The crowd were fantastic, the team were fantastic, and we produced, well, possibly the most special result that we produced at St James's Park in my lifetime. I do think that this is a similar game. This is a similar game. So, for all of those who suggest that lightning can strike twice, I would be in your camp. I'm really hopeful that it'll be a similar sort of a setup. I don't think Barcelona will be as complacent as PSG were because I think we really knocked them off the stride. The look of sheer horror and surprise on Mbappe's face at various stages through that game is something I chuckle to myself to every time I remember it. But yeah, I think it is a free hit, and I think because it's a free hit, we'll go for it, and that's what we need to do. There's no good doing a Valencia and trying to erect a wall 30 yards from our goal because they'll find ways through it and over it and under it, round it.
Yeah.
No point doing that. We've got to have a threat in their half.
100%. I think we definitely will. We'll definitely have more than 2 shots. And when we don't, that's going to come back to bite me on the arse. But I definitely think we will. I think it'll be a brilliant game, and I genuinely think it could be the game of the first round of fixtures because both teams are very, very good. We haven't been at our attacking best, but we have been very solid defensively. But we know Barcelona can put 4 past a team even at their best. So I've looked at it after this game, and I've looked at sort of what we would need in 12 teams that I think would be worse than us over the campaign. I've got, I think, 8 that I think everyone will agree with. And they are Faros, Bodo Glimt, Karabag, Kirat, Slavia Prague, Olympiacos, Copenhagen, and Union Saint-Gilloise. Would you agree that realistically, even in a bad campaign, we should be finishing above all of those?
Can you just confirm? Actually, I don't think it is. I don't think Bodo Glimt are there. But I was going to say, is that not just the other 8 teams from pot 4 that you've picked? You've kept one of them in. I'm trying to remember which one. And Bodo Glimt are a pot 3 team. But I mean, that makes sense, isn't it? That's why they're in pot 4. So yeah, I think we should finish above those teams.
Yeah, I think Slavia were Slavia and Copenhagen. And Olympiacos, I think, were pot 3. I generally think there's better teams in pot 4 than there is in pot 3, which is insane. Napoli excluded, who actually have been in the top 8 at the end of this. But yeah, so that leaves 4 teams, 4 additional teams that we need to be better than. And in the 4, I've got 5 here that I think we definitely will. And that is PSV, Athletic Bilbao. I've mentioned them 2 first because we play them both. And then Club Brugge, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Sporting Lisbon. So we would have to be better than 4 out of those 5 clubs, and unless there's a major shock, for us to go through. That doesn't include, obviously, Monaco, Galatasaray, 2 pot 4 teams, a couple others in there as well. But do you think that's definitely doable? But does it not just emphasise how big our games against Bilbao and etc. are?
I think those are real 6-pointers when it comes to finishing above the line rather than below the line, definitely. But I'm confident in enough of the games that we'll get the 12 points we need, Michael. I mean, I would. Well, I'm a happy clapper compared to you. I would hope that I would hope that going in after game 4, game 5, that we would still have a chance of emulating Villa and finishing in the top 8 and not having to play a qualifying game.
It's true. Yeah.
Because we've got 2 tough games. The toughest, as you say, is coming up now. And if it is a PSG night and we win it, then that's 3 more points than you've given us, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think we
100%.
win it. I think we win it, and I think the confidence we get from that, the depth of the squad, so we can have a suspension or two and an injury or two, and still be competitive. I mean, we're talking about the options that there are on the bench, etc. We've already had Ramsey and Wissa ruled out, so when these
Yeah,
guys come back, there's even more selection.
true.
I'm confident. I'm confident. Maybe it's
Yeah.
misplaced because I did think we were going
No.
to stuff Wolves 4-0, didn't I? But there you go. We win.
That much is true, but to be fair, Wolves didn't carry much of a threat at all, and on another day it could have been. But I think it's one of those where I've been a little bit harsh on us, I think, because I know that I'm a bit overzealous when it comes to us getting points. So I said we were going to draw with Leverkusen, Benfica. We'd lose at Marseille to Barcelona to PSG. Let's be honest, you can never predict football. I mean, I got to the end of my predictions. I did the full Champions League predictor, and I realised I hadn't allowed Bodo Glimt to score a goal. So my predictions aren't going to be correct. But I did have us on 11 points, which would have us in 17th. If I offered you that now, would you take it?
It's in the top 24.
Top 24 go through.
So if we're 17th, the
We
8
would
get
play.
through. So that is 9 down. So we would be playing somebody next to us at the table in the
We
qualifying
would
round.
playing 14th, which I had down as Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, heck. Yeah. Well, it was like Liverpool played that team that only just managed to get through, which was PSG
Uh,
last year, wasn't it?
yeah, mental.
Um, which was crazy. No, I wouldn't take that. I would play the games and I think we'll finish higher than that, Michael.
Ooh, interesting. Let us know what your thoughts where Newcastle will finish in the Champions League phase. But for now, I'm going to get Ian to give me the Zencaster advert. Take it away, Ian.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencaster came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencaster.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, Ian. And to be fair, in part 3, I handed over to you for the advert. I'm pretty much going to be handing it over to you here because I believe you have an 11 versus 11 to try and pick the best 11. Well, for me to try and pick the best 11 between Barcelona and Newcastle. Is that right?
There is a shortcut to this game, Michael, in which case you just ask to see the Barcelona team sheet and you put that up. But no, I have. I've gone for 2 sort of, I don't know if it'll be the teams, but it'll be close.
Yeah.
Position by position. I'm going to run through them and you can give me a little spiel on who makes it into the combined 11 and why. So
Okay,
in
so when I
goal,
don't know a Barcelona player, I'm going to look dreadful. But let's go.
right. So in goal, Nick Pope against Juan Garcia.
Okay, I haven't seen a massive amount of Juan Garcia at, I think it was Espanyol. But if you remember, we were linked with him quite heavily at the start of the window, and he was the one that was going to replace Nick Pope. When they recently played Real Vallecano, he was excellent. So I know Pope has been good in the last few games, but probably got to go the Spaniard here. 1-0 Barcelona.
1-0 Barcelona, right. Jules Koundé and Kieran Trippier. See, I wouldn't have
Okay.
Kieran Trippier. I would have to either.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Anyway, sorry. Jules Koundé and Kieran Trippier.
It's so for me, I think when it comes to attacking, Trippier is better on the ball, but Koundé is the catalyst of that team that often allows it to go into a back three, allow Balde to go forward. Koundé is an excellent defender. He plays sometimes ahead of Saliba for France, so I kind of have to give it to him because I'd love to see him at Newcastle.
Hmm. Right, to centre half then. Eric Garcia against Fabian Schär.
If we had a fully fit Sven Botman, I'd probably put him in against like any Barcelona defender, I think. But in a 4-3-3, let's be honest, it is going to be Schär and probably Byrne. Yeah, Fabian Schär doesn't start over Eric Garcia. He was excellent at Man City, and he's only matured in that time. So it's the whitewash is on, I guess. 3-0 Barcelona.
Yeah, well, Dan Byrne is up next in the other centre half position against
Thought you might be, yeah.
Pau Kubasi.
Yes, the youngster from Barcelona. I generally could give this to Dan Byrne, and that wouldn't be any fault of Kabasi. But I think he's going to be one of the greats in the future. He'll be, I don't want to say Puyol levels for Barcelona, but he'll definitely have his own legacy and he'll be a legend there. He definitely suits Barcelona a lot better than what a Dan Byrne would. But I think when you look at it on defensive merit, there's very few defenders who are as good at defending as Dan Byrne. So it's closer than many would think. However, if I put Dan Byrne in a combined Barcelona and Newcastle 11, I'd probably be burnt at the stake. So I think Dan Byrne's better for us, but Kabasi's probably better overall.
I don't know. Right, what about your Balde fella? Alejandro Balde against Tino Livramento.
Yeah,
That's at left back, though.
Yes. Spain's next great left back against England's, because I do think Tino is better at left back than what he is at right back. I do like Balde's attacking threat, but as a wing back, I actually think Tino's a better defender. I think Balde, you could play him left wing and he wouldn't be out of sorts, but he's in better form than Balde at the moment. Livramento, for me, is going to be maybe the standout player of the season for Newcastle this year. And in a year's time, they'll be linking up in 2 months' time, they'll probably be linking up to Man City again for 70 million. So, yeah, for me...
They were sniffing in the summer, weren't they?
Yeah, for me, it's Tino Livramento and Newcastle finally get on the board.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful that in midfield we can at least hold our own here. Because remember, we think this is the best midfield in the Premier League.
We do, yes.
Frankie de Jong against Joe Linton.
Yeah, I think that one is maybe the non-starter. I love Joey, but Frankie de Jong's maybe one of the best in the world. I think Joey complements us so well, but better players de Jong, unfortunately.
Of course, Joe Linton's going to have to be measured as being a winger, a midfielder, a backup left back, and auxiliary centre half. Probably sweeper, actually, if you give him the gloves, he'd play in goal as well, wouldn't he? Right, what about Pedri against Sandro Tonali?
The thing is, Sandro Tonali is comfortably one of the top, maybe even top 5 central midfielders in the world. I think Pedri is the best midfielder in the world. So it's one of those, like, great putting the two together because they are the two best midfielders. I think Tonali beats any other midfielder, but when it's best against the best, they are the most similar. Pedri has to get the nod.
Okay, so that leaves you with Bruno G against Fermin Lopez.
Oh,
we were linked to Fermin towards the end of the transfer window, were we not?
Yeah, we were. So he's sitting there at number 10 at the minute. He's playing number 10 for Barcelona. He's a great player, but again, I think him and Bruno G are two of the more creators across the team. Whether Fermin plays, I imagine that is will be down to Yamal being out again and them having to just switch things around. Bruno Guimaraes is the better player there for me, 100%, and he fits into this best 11 to give Newcastle, I believe, the second player. Although with Tonali, it could have been 3 easily.
Well, you can swap Tonali and Joe Linton around, so you can have Tonali against Frankie de Jong if you want. You can't do that. Okay. Rafinha against Anthony Elanga.
Oh, see, Elanga definitely has the potential to be one of the best in the world, but Rafinha is currently doing it at that level. So it's Rafinha all day for me. I can't argue against that, even if I'd like to. And I think it's the same no matter who you play on that right wing. Jacob Murphy, Anthony Elanga. I think Rafinha beats them both.
This other wing, though, we must have a chance. Marcus Rashford against Anthony Gordon.
Now, this is the one where I could convincingly say Newcastle are in. Let's be honest, Marcus Rashford isn't at his best, and when he is, he can be one of the best players in the world. But Anthony Gordon edges him all day, every day. Gordon is a much better player, and to be honest, I think that shows when they play for England. So Anthony Gordon, I believe it's 7-3 now. Or 6-3. It'll be 7-3. Yeah.
It's 7-3. The final one is, and I'm not sure why have you not included Lewandowski anywhere. You've got Ferran Torres up front against Nick Voltemade.
Lewandowski hasn't started a game for Barcelona this season. He's had 60 minutes across 3 appearances on the bench.
Right. He scored twice, didn't he, against Valencia, though?
Yeah, he came off the bench, but he's came off the bench in all 3 games. That's the first one where it looks like he's done well. But even then, if Lewandowski played over Ferran Torres, I think it's one of those. We haven't seen enough of Nick Voltemade to put him above Ferran Torres. And if you remember, Torres scored a hat-trick against us for Man City. I know that was during the old Bruce era, but yeah, he wasn't at the level he is now. So Torres goes in for me, and I guess that makes it 8-3.
8-3. Although, if I rewrote the teams and swapped Joelinton and Sandro Tonali, that would make it 7-4.
It would.
And let's be honest, if we put Livramento against Koundé, would you still pick him against Koundé?
I'd probably still pick Koundé. Koundé is one of the best centre-backs in the world for me when he moves into that back 3.
Right, okay. I won't bother shifting. I was going to try and put Livramento against him and keep Livramento winning, because then Lewis Hall would come in against
Alejandro Balde.
Balde, and he's a better fullback. He's a better defensive fullback, I think. Well, Balde's a midfielder, really, a winger, isn't he?
That's the thing. With the way they play, they'll play the 4 at the back. It'll turn into the 3. Balde he'll effectively be playing left wing, turning that attacking 4 into a 5. And it's going to be very, very dangerous to defend. But also, you get someone running at that fullback position, that left fullback position. Your right back gets forward, which is another reason why I agree with you that Tino Livramento should end up playing on the right. Potentially Lewis Hall goes in at left back. Then Tino Livramento could create a lot of space for Newcastle and do a lot of damage down the right-hand side. But I do think he'll probably play him on the left.
I think you're probably right. I don't think Trippier will get left out. I don't think he will. He might get taken off, but I don't think he'll get left out. Anyway,
the experience in that game is massive, isn't it?
Very, very interesting combined 11. Amazing that we get 3 in the Barcelona team. That's a sign. I don't think we would if we'd been comparing it way back when we played PSG. But
no.
I'm going to hand it back to you to finish us off, Michael.
No worries. And I will add, with Lamine Yamal in there, it probably does end up being 9-2, because I don't think Gordon gets it over Yamal. But it's one of those. Thanks for going through that, Ian. There are some fine margins in there. As you say, you switch a couple of players around, it could be very different. But I think that pretty much sums it up. Do you agree with our combined 11s? I've been Michael Grahamslaw. I've been joined by Iain Mackay. Thanks for joining me, Ian. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.